Guys, we have a big breaking news coming out. The US Commander-in-Chief tells top military brass to prepare for war against enemy from within. This is coming out from the US Commander, and today he was at the Virginia very important meeting with top US general from around the world, and he put out some very powerful message. And I did post one about the nuclear submarine. Now the link will be in the description box, so check it out, guys. All the information will be in the comments box and description box. So we're gonna see what's going on here. The U.S. commander is saying that we have enemy within our sleeping giant, and that's 100% accurate. I do believe so, 100%. So we need to pray in these tough times that we are living. We are seeing dark forces within our sleeping giant. Alright guys, before I start, for those of you that want to send us letters or prayer requests, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife Jessica Santiago at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida 34691. And for those of you that want to contribute to the channel, we do have the Cash App link and a PayPal link in the comments box and also description box. Thank you again for your support. Your support is what keeps us on air. Before I start, I want to read this verse from 1 John chapter 1 verse 5. God is light, and in him there is no darkness at all. God is light. Amen to that. And we follow the light because the light is Christ, our Savior. And the door, the cross, is the door to heaven. So again, very powerful verse, chapter 1, 1 John chapter 1, verse 5. So the U.S. Commander-in-Chief, in an address to the U.S. top military officials Tuesday, stressed that after decades of military campaigns abroad, it was time to turn the armed forces inward against an unspecified enemy from within. Only in recent decades did politicians somehow come to believe that our job is to police the far reaches of Kenya and Somalia, while America is under invasion from within, the U.S. commander said. We are under invasion from within, the U.S. commander repeated. No different than a foreign enemy, but more difficult in many ways because they don't wear uniforms. At least when they're wearing a uniform, you can take them, out. It's war from within, he added. Wow. What are your thoughts on that, guys? Leave comments down below. That, again, this is a breaking news coming out from the Commander-in-Chief. Very powerful message. And it's common sense, guys. We all know that the enemy is within. Alright, so it says here the U.S. commander alarming comments during an unprecedented gathering of around 800 generals and admirals came as he is increasingly attempting to use the military as a domestic police force while claiming to designate Americans as the, T. Let me just highlight this. This platform is really strict, guys. They're very strict. They're hiding a lot of our stuff. So please follow me with the code words. Virginia Berger, a senior defense analyst at the Project Ungov oversight, told the news that while the U.S. commander has made similar comments in the past, his remarks this time were addressed to the people most likely to stand in his way. It was in line with things he's already said, but it was especially concerning to have him say it to a room full of people who would most likely be the ones to stand in front of him and tell him no. Commissioned officers of the U.S. military take an oath to support and defend the Constitution, and that's very true. That is absolutely true. You take an oath. to defend, to support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. They are also required to refuse illegal orders that violate the Constitution, federal law, or international human rights standards. Risa Brooks, a Marquette University professor who studies the relationship between military organizations and civil society, warned on social media that Tuesday's meeting and the U.S. commander address are part of a larger project aimed at promoting the military leadership partisan alignment with the administration. To the generals and admirals in attendance, it signals that overt ideological conformity with the administration is not just appropriate, but key to their career advancement and to protecting their units and commands, Brooke said. Now, the U.S. commander opened his address by threatening senior military officials, saying they could leave if they disagreed with what he was about to say. If you don't like what I'm saying, you can leave the room, the U.S. commander said. Of course, there goes your rank. There goes your future. The ultimate aim here is that people will no longer expect the military to serve the public at large, but that its goal and purpose is to advance the interests of one faction or party in politics, Brooks added. It says here, the address came just days after the U.S. commander deployed 200 National Guard soldiers to Portland, the latest target of the president's effort to assert control over U.S. cities by force. While deploying troops to Portland, the U.S. commander said he was authorizing the military to use full force, if necessary, against these groups, who he claimed had an ICE facility in the city under siege. And it's crazy, it's absolute crazy that you have those mayors and gov do absolutely nothing. I don't know why they're in the spotlight. I don't know why they're in the spotlight. It's just mind-blowing that this is where we are right now. So senior Oregon and Portland law enforcement officials stated in court filings Monday that the deployment is unwarranted and that recent protests outside of the ICE facility have been peaceful demonstrations protected by the First Amendment. We have a separation between our military and our police forces for a reason. The military is meant to take out, Berger added. The military is not meant to or trained to conduct local policing. Well, here's the thing too. The military is also used excuse me, the military is also used, and you can't deny this because you yourself, again, governors out there, you guys declare state of emergency when there's hurricanes and stuff like that. You guys activate state of emergency, and guess who comes in? The military. The military comes in. They come to assist, to help. And you can't deny that. How many times have they activated state of emergency, and here comes the military to assist, to help? We unleash overwhelming and punishing the lawlessness on the enemy. We also don't fight with, I'm going to skip that name, rules of engagement, Hexeth said. We untie the hands of our war fighters to intimidate, demoralize, hunt, and take out the enemies of our land. No more politically correct and overbearing rules of engagement. Who is the adversary? Who are increasing lethality for? Berger asked. It is the Red Dragon, China? It is the bear, Russia? Or it is so they can exercise some degree of control over the American public? They didn't say that quite. part out loud today, but it's certainly there in between the lines if you read closely. So today's meeting in Virginia with top generals was very important stuff that came out from the leader and also Hegseth and stuff. So it's very important to share these video, guys. I know the platform is being really strict. We are getting hit every day. Also other accounts too. So it's coming to a point, guys, that eventually we're gonna get only one view per video. That's how bad it is. Many of you are saying that your comments is not being shown. We're not blocking your comments. We not removing your comments unless you say blaspheme stuff. Then that's different. But we don't remove comments. Your comments are being blocked. So we already messaged the platform, and it's just absolute crazy. It's the algorithm that is being placed now in this platform. It's just ridiculous. It says here, in addition to Portland, the U.S. commander has deployed or announced plans to deploy troops to L.A., D.C., and Tennessee, all over the objection of state and local leaders. The president has routinely threatened to send troops against Chicago, and he repeated those warnings again before military leaders. Under normal circumstances, it says here, federal law imposes strict limits on the president's ability to use the military for domestic law enforcement. Though its recent deployment, however, the U.S. Commander administration has attempted to push the limits of those statutes or has sought ways to circumvent them. Now, the U.S. Commander Tuesday falsely claimed that some of America's largest cities, including the nation's capital, were worse than some of the battlefields seen by the officials in attendance. And he suggested that American streets should be used as training grounds for the armed forces. Now, during his address, the U.S. commander repeatedly referenced an enemy from within that the military must help put down. This is very important here, guys. The military must help to put down. Can there be a tribunal? Will Donna go after these Looney Tunes and put them in tribunal court cases and bring them down? Last month, I signed an executive order to provide training for a quick reaction force that can help quell civil disturbances, the U.S. commander said. This is going to be a big thing for the people in this room because it's the enemy from within, and we have to handle it before it gets out of control. The U.S. commander referenced to an executive order that directed Hegseth to prepare the National Guard units in each state to be ready to quell civil disturbances. Legal experts and former military officials interpreted the order as an attempt to establish a national militarized police force that the U.S. Commander personally controls. Though he didn't specify who the enemy was, the U.S. Commander has used similar language in the past to strike or go against the left and others who have opposed or investigating him. All right, so once again, guys, this is a very important message. This is basically preparing for, give me a second here, a shift in this empire, going after the enemies and having possibly the tribunals involved. The U.S. commander continued those strikes before the military leaders. In addition to going after, look at this, going after former Joe and several of the left gov and mayors, the U.S. commander told the military top brass that the left are bad, who do not respect the military. He also likened the left and his other perceived opponent to adversaries that troops face on the battlefield. Man, they're vicious people that we have to fight, just like you have to fight vicious people. The U.S. commander said of his opponents, mine are a different kind of vicious. Man, Donald's comparing his enemies to those in biblical war. So the U.S. commander ended his address by conflating his political enemies with foreign adversaries that threaten the sleeping giant's security. When it comes to defending our way of life, nothing will slow us, the U.S. commander said. No enemy will stop us. They cannot stop us, and no adversary will stop us. They won't stand in our way. We don't want them to stand in our way. We don't even want them in that position, but they're not going to stand in our way ever again. You never see 4 years like we had with Joe and that group of incompetent people that ran this country. They should have never been there. Wow. We will vanquish every danger and crush every threat to our freedom in every generation to come. Wow. So he basically declared biblical war, enemy within. He's telling them, when I'm gone, when I do my 4 years, when I finish my 4 years, y'all ain't coming back. You are not coming back. Because there's going to be punishment. There's going to be a biblical war. We coming after you. We coming after all of you. That's what the commander said. Commander tells top military brass to prepare for war against enemy from within. What are your thoughts, guys? Leave comments down below. Please share the video, like the video, subscribe. Again, share your video in your community tab on YouTube, on your post, share it on your post, share it on your Facebook, share it with your friends and family. Do me that favor if you can, please. It's very important to share this message. This is a very important speech by the commander. The commander addressed the military. The military sat down and listened. This is a very serious stuff here. The enemy right now, I do believe they are planning something. The enemy are planning something. We need to pray for the Donald, because stuff like that, they don't like messages like that. Again, you saw what happened to JFK. Saw what happened to Charlie. And we need to pray for the Donald. We truly need to pray for him and his family. Again, those dark forces, they don't like him when you step, when you step on their foot. They will respond. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Please share the video. Till next time later. Peace.